Talkin with Topher is sponsored by slowdownclothing.bigcartel.com, New Hampshire Vape Gallery, and naturalbossnh.com. More on that later. Let's get into episode 98. Talkin with Topher. Talkin with Topher. Talkin with Topher. What is happening, TwT fans? It is so good to be back. Woo! I have got an awesome podcast set up for everybody out there. But before I get into any of that, I want to say thank you. Thank you to everybody who already subscribes to the podcast. You're what keeps me coming back here week after week. I saw some more subscribers, so that just, I just love it and I appreciate it, and I just need to say thank you to all of you out there for doing that. Remember to subscribe. That's right. You watching, listening, you need to be subscribing. Click, smash, lick that subscribe button. It's the only thing I'm asking you to do. It's the most important thing. It means everything to me and almost nothing to you. So go ahead and click that. If you want to do more, of course, give a thumbs up for the video. Share, rate, review, and leave comments in the comments section. That's right. That all helps the algorithm of the podcast. It helps it grow, and I need your help to do that. If you want to get more involved with the podcast, you have a story, maybe there's a story you know that needs to be heard, send it over to TALKIN with Topher at gmail.com. That's talkinwithtopher at gmail.com. Put slow down in the subject line and you get the opportunity to win some free slow down merch. All right. So if I pull your story, we have a Zoom, whatever happens, you're going to get some free merch, and I'm excited to share that opportunity with you. Just send the email over to TALKIN with Topher at gmail.com. And then if you want to follow me, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, and Facebook. That's right. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, and Facebook. And now with all of that out of the way, I want to get into today's episode. So I had a colleague, a friend. I had a blast from the past come in on Sunday. Which today is Monday. It's the 14th. But yeah, we did it yesterday. We sat down. It was an amazing podcast. I did not know that having some guests on, maybe I did know, but it just hit me yesterday, where it's an amazing experience to get to know somebody, and being or having this capability is now opening my eyes to getting to know people that I thought I knew in a different light. So this has been absolutely amazing. Another goal I was trying to reach was having a guest once a month. So far, so good. This is a lot of fun to have Kevin Freeman on and talk about just his life, getting to know him. And he makes music, and you can follow him on all the social media. Everything will be posted in the description below. And I just wanted to share this with all of you. It was a great time. We had a lot of fun. And I'm just so excited. I'm so excited that I do not want to waste any more of your time. So enjoy today's podcast, Talking with Kevin Freeman. All right. Well, it is February 13th, 2022, and I am here with Kevin Freeman, my guest today. And why don't you plug anything you want?
All right. Well, let's see. I want to, plug some of my music. Some of you, I've been doing my music for quite some time, a couple of years. Took some time off, and then I got back into it. So my music, if you want to listen to it, it's basically, I'm on Spotify, I'm on SoundCloud, I'm on Apple Music. I'm basically everywhere. And, to listen to my music, my artist name is Kevin, okay? And then it's Freeman 73. So basically go on to any of those venues and you shall see, you'll get to hear my music. It's a little bit of everything, okay? It's not all hip hop. It's R&B, it's rap. It's even a little reggae. I even got into, a little country because, I got to keep it country, So I'm kind of spread out everywhere. And people go, what's your style? And I go, it's just basically Wild Child. Wild Child is basically whatever the mood gets you to, however you feel. If you feel a vibe and you feel a good flow with it, you flow with it. So that's kind of what my style is. I'm scattered everywhere. So, check me out on those venues. I'm killing it. I'm actually coming out with some new music as well. So nice. I'm working on a couple songs. I've got at least 10 songs I'm working on. Right now I got over 100 songs basically on those venues alone.
Oh, great.
Oh, yeah.
Great. We'll get more into that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing, dude.
I got to stay busy.
I'll put all the little notes and stuff at the bottom of the screen. We'll plug all that in during editing magic, I like to call it. But so let's get started, man. Like where we work together. That's how we know each other, so we can establish some groundwork or something. But we used to work together at Walmart, and it was Amherst, and I've been trying to go through my index there, and I think, wasn't it back in 2008, 2009?
Let's see, I've been with the Merrimack District for it's 9 years now.
Right,
and
right.
So it's around that time frame, yeah.
Around that time frame, yeah. So, tell me where did you grow up? Where were you born? Where
you guys are gonna, I'm originally from Dorchester, Mass.
Oh, okay.
The saying, Massachusetts people, we somehow seem to migrate up here to.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's just one of those things. But I was born and raised in Dorchester, Mass. My mother, she is originally from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So imagine going from Alabama to Boston, to Massachusetts. So, that's kind of how it was. I, grew up in Dorchester, Mass, learned a lot. People tend to have a bad rep of the city.
Yes.
And all I can say is the city made me who I am today. The city, prepared me for street smart, because there are some people out in the world that are smart, very intelligent, but they don't have what you call street smart or common sense.
Okay. Yeah.
And that, growing up helped me understand that, helped me, figure all that out. And then when I got old enough, I said, and I said, all right, I got my license. I said, I want to travel, so I ended up moving further up, and I, went, drove up to New Hampshire. And I'm like, and I'm like, I kind of like this country vibe. I was like, it's a change of scenery from, the noise and everything like that. I said, this is kind of, this is a relaxing stage. And
around what year was this when you were coming up to New Hampshire and getting this feel for it?
Let's see. It was like, 90, 95, around there.
95. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So it was basically as soon as I got my license and, and I was all right. And I got my first car, which was a Mercury Topaz.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember those.
So it was just, I was like, all right, I'm going to start driving up here and hanging out. And then, the clubs and all that. I'm like, okay, I kind of like this vibe. And I instantly fell in love with New Hampshire.
Okay. Sorry to cut you off, but now during this time, are you into music like you are today? So this has always been a thing that you've been cooking.
Music has always been within me because, my dad, I say it comes from him because when I was young at it, and staying with him, his thing was he would always play music, until like 3 o'clock in the morning, which would tick our neighbors off, obviously. But, he was always playing the old school, the Motown stuff.
Oh, great stuff.
Yeah. So,
great stuff.
that was inbred in me. That was something I couldn't, I wasn't trying to shake. And then as I got older, I said, okay, I ended up actually joining a group.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was right when I was in high school. My best friend, he's like, one day he said to me, he says, all right, I gotta go somewhere to this place. And me, I'm like, wherever you gotta go, I'll go with you, man, because it's just he was my best friend and we looked out for each other. And then all of a sudden he, took me over to this place in the projects.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was, the projects that you guys call up here are not the projects. The projects the projects that I know are brick buildings that were tall and they were true projects.
They were true projects.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, so when people set it up and they go, oh yeah, I go, no, you have no idea what the projects really are. And so he ended up taking me over there, and I thought he was, gonna go meet some girl or something like that, and I just wanted to make sure he was okay. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, he we pull up to the house, and he's like, yeah, I'm joining a group.
Oh.
Yeah. And the group, basically what they did was we did a lot of cover for New Edition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a
okay.
lot of cover for New Edition. So you know how it is with all, this is the New Edition before before Johnny Gill. There was the New Edition with Bobby Brown.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was that's kind of what we did.
God.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That brings back some memories, dude. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So that, we ended up, he ended up joining, and I'm like, all right, I'm like, I'm liking this. I'm like, and I asked him, I said, Sean, how can I get down? And he goes, well, I'll talk to them and see what they think. And then next thing you know, I was in the group.
That's fucking dope.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was the basically, the fifth member of the one, that they kind of weren't expecting me to really perform and do my thing. Because at the time I was like, all right, these people knew I only know my best friend.
Okay.
I don't know anyone else. So you can't, I'm not trying to overstep my boundaries.
Right.
And then everyone had kind of a style, like the lead singer. And this is a girl. She was a lead singer. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. Shauna Santos. She's, shout out. She was a lead singer. So she's like, basically, she was a Ralph Tresvant. My best friend was like Michael Bivins.
Okay.
So we each, kind of favored someone within the group.
Oh, okay,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
So-
Took on a persona.
Oh, there you go.
A
There you go.
persona of one of the members of the group.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So, and
And this is all happening before
Yeah,
you
this is-
moved to New Hampshire.
this is happening way before I
way before.
I even just was like, all right, let's go further up north.
Okay.
So
All right.
that-
So when you're coming up to New Hampshire, said around 95, what was the reason for coming up here? Because when my parents moved us out of Lynn, Mass,
Yeah.
and moved us to Derry, New Hampshire,
Okay.
that was because the neighborhood in Lynn was getting bad,
Mm-hmm.
and then 1 week before we were trying to sell our house in Lynn, a
Yeah.
drunk driver put his car through our front porch.
Oh Jesus!
Oh yeah, it was.
Wow.
Dude, my dad chased that motherfucker down, bro. Chased him down and dragged him back to the fucking car, the cops said. It was
Good.
in the police report.
Oh, good.
Fucking
Good.
wild.
That wow, dude.
dude. Yeah.
It was so. Oh snap! They just wow.
Yeah,
No,
that was around 89, 90.
Holy crap.
Yeah, right around there. So like, what brought you to New Hampshire?
My thing, honestly, it was the girls.
It was.
Yeah, I wanted to.
But you were bringing yourself up
Yeah.
here.
I was- yeah, no,
okay.
I
So it
was-
wasn't your parents moving you out. It was you.
No, when I, as soon as I got my license and I was like, all right, I can travel now.
Yeah.
That's the thing about the city. People don't realize you have the convenience of getting anywhere you want because the T is accessible.
Right.
Up here,
Nothing.
now if you don't have a car,
There's a lot more today.
yeah. Oh yeah.
But
my-
back
yeah,
then, dude,
no.
there was nothing. You
No.
couldn't even get a taxi.
Nope.
It was crazy back then. You were stuck at your house unless somebody else had a vehicle
Oh yeah.
to get you around. Yeah.
Definitely. So but I was like, I don't know. It was one of those weird things where just I was like, all right, I want to move further up north and see what's up there because, like I said, I've been so used to the city. I wanted to see what the country aspect of it was, and honestly, I fell in love with it. If I wasn't going to move here, or because my plan was, either I was going to leave, live in New Hampshire or live in Colorado.
Oh wow.
Yeah, as you can see, I just wanted to
Get out of the city.
Yeah, shed some of that. And
Yep.
be like, all right, because the problem with majority of the people in the city is they seem to not realize it's much more than just a city. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking the city because it made me who I am. It basically prepared me, but a lot of people, they don't realize that once you step out of that and you enjoy nature, you enjoy everything else, there's a whole new world. There's a whole new different aspect of it, and I embraced it. The minute I left, I was like, all right, I'm good. I'm like, I like everything I see. I like the fact that, there's not liquor store here, supermarket here, store here, store here. When I moved up here, everything was spread out, was spaced out.
It was very spaced out.
You know,
yes.
it wasn't greedy money that was building several Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks or you know, it was country.
It's really developed over the last 20 something years, and for sure.
That's okay, but you know, I like the fact of when it was that way because there wasn't a lot to offer, but you respected what was there.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and I mean, now it's just it's overwhelming. It's too much, you know. And that's the problem with New Hampshire. It's taking that country aspect away. Unless you go further up north, you got that. But the point is, I can remember driving up and hitting that, you know, that Nashua border.
Okay, I was gonna ask you where you landed. So you went the Nashua way.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And hitting that and being like, wow, man. Wow.
And that's crazy to hear. Because even when back in like '98, when I started my journey at Headlines, that city was considered like moving up back then.
Yep.
So you got into that area about 4 or 5 years before that all happened. And it's just crazy for me to hear that Nashua was like spread out and country like. Because it's not anymore.
No, I love that. Was the one thing you know I loved about it. And I remember because there was a club in Manchester that's I forgot the name of it, but it's like basically it's on the back roads. It's over where Subway. It's over where you know how you get off the exit of Queen City.
Yes.
That exit over there. And
okay.
And I think there's a store 24 there. It's been a while.
Okay, that's down by in the back of Elm Street, back there.
Yeah.
What are we talking? Exit 4 or 5 off of 293, I think.
Yeah, it's
back there.
Basically, it's either 4 or 5, but I just know you would get off that exit, and there was a club that I used to, you know, that I would go to, and the first time I went there and I was leaving, I had to pull over and ask a cop. I'm like, all right, how do I get back to Boston? And he's like, you go this way, you know, and you'll end up right back, you know, where you need to go, and you're good to go. When I'm driving, dude, and all I see is trees to my left, trees to my right. I'm like, oh this is Jasonville, man, because that's what we called it. We called it Jasonville because basically you're driving that strip and all you're seeing is trees. You don't see any street lights. You don't see, and it's like, all right, just don't break down.
Yeah, because you're screwed.
Don't break down. Don't pull over, man, because if you do, you are just you know, you're truly in Jasonville. That's what we called it. So I mean, after, you know, every weekend doing that, I got so comfortable with it, and I'm like, oh, I'm loving this. I'm just liking the country.
Wow.
And then I ended up just coming back and forth, and I ended up liking it. You know, but at the same time, like I didn't want to give up the Boston, you know, the city side of it,
of course,
you know?
Of course.
And then what had happened was I ended up because I've had several jobs, but I'm gonna be honest with you, the job that I have now is more rewarding than any of my other jobs I've ever had.
Yeah. Just bring that mic a little closer. You can pull the mic to you if you want to. Yeah.
I mean, it's just I've had several jobs, and there was one job that I had where I worked for Merrill Lynch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
a mortgage company?
Yeah.
Right, yes.
I was what you call a wire operator. Basically, I would sit there and wire tickets down to New York and all. Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I was close to getting because, you know, at that time, I was like, all right, what do I want to do with myself? And I loved it.
And how old are you around this time? You think? Do you remember?
20, I think it was 21.
Okay,
22 around there.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when you got your license, teenager, you're driving up to New Hampshire, you're getting the feel for it, but you're keeping Boston in the background. Yeah. And now you're getting into your 20s, and now you're working for Merrill Lynch. Because
I remember, it was 21. Because it was 2021 around that time. And
are you brokering mortgages, or what is the tickets?
Basically, what it is when you know, I worked with the brokers.
Okay.
So basically, when they had an order or a ticket to fill, you know, they would come over to me and say, basically, wire it down or send it down, you know, to New York. So if they wanted to buy, you know, 50,000 shares of Microsoft, usually it was on this small little gray slip. Or And I would, I made sure that, when you wire, because you don't want to make the wrong mistake.
No, you can. If you make a mistake, even today, wiring money, dude, it's gone.
Oh yeah,
it's gone.
I was very, very careful about, reading it, and then I would wire it down. And if there was never an issue, I always had that access. Whereas the person that they were dealing with, I could call them and say, hey, I just wired this down. This is what they wanted instead of this. So as long as it was a quick recovery, a quick fix, I mean seconds, then it was fine.
Oh, gotcha,
gotcha. You just had to be really careful.
Huh.
And that was honestly my first serious job, and I think had I stuck with it, I would have been fine. But the problem with that was when you're young, I call it young and dumb, because when you're young, you end up meeting someone and you end up getting to the point, because I ended up meeting my son's mother, my oldest son's mother.
Okay.
Meeting her, and it was like I was so much focused on her, and I was less focused on work.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're in your 20s, dude. That's the way we work.
So
we're driven by that.
That job I ended up losing, and I don't regret it, because every journey that you go upon, it's a learning lesson, and it taught me that just focus and do what you need to do to better yourself.
Okay. Well, when you're doing this now, having this job, is this job in New Hampshire?
No, it was in downtown Boston.
Oh, okay. So you're working in Boston, living in Boston, having fun in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Okay. I all right. I was just trying to.
What it is at the time, because that time I was living with two other roommates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had our, had a little bachelor pad. It was a nice little spread, and with that, I was like, all right, I'm gonna have fun. I was like, I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna enjoy myself, and that's kind of where it was, And I was the only person at that time, before I had the nice little Mercury Topaz. That car ended up dying on me, literally driving up here.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it was one night I was like, all right, I'm gonna head up to the club, driving up here, and it died on me. It died. So I had to, basically, they towed it back as close to my house as they possibly could. And I was like, I'm just going to leave it here. It's parked off to the side. I'll come back and recover it when I can.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up taking it away. And then, so I was without a car for a couple of months. I was literally, and like I said, it's great when you're used to going to the city and traveling around, but when you don't have a car and you're trying to impress girls, it's
impossible.
Girl, like, man, let's ride the T. Let's T it, girl. Let's T it. And no, I'm good. I'm all set. So, thank God I had some friends that that were helping me out, because one of my friends, I was like, Janelle, her name was Janelle, and I'm like, how did you guys go about getting your car? So she told me and showed me how everyone else was getting their cars and how they're working. And she knew a dealership. So she ended up introducing me to the dealership. And she's like, Kevin, this is what we're going to do. You're going to save money. You're going to work also here, on this work also. Because with me working at Merrill Lynch, I had a side job where I was working at a club. It was a club it was basically a club that was on a boat. Now it's like a bouncer.
Huh.
Yeah. It was down towards it's right towards where the aquarium is, that area.
Oh, okay, that area. Yeah.
But and basically that was my part-time gig. So I was saving money there, also saving that, and just working, trying to save up enough so I can get a nice car. Because I'm like, if I'm gonna get a car, I'm gonna get a nice little car. I'm not getting a Mercury Topaz again.
Yeah.
So I ended up saving up enough money to get a 1999 Acura Legend.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It was if I can go back in time and have that car, that was the true stud car for me.
No
it was
kidding.
It was
nice. It was a nice car back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, when I got that kind of stepped up my game more, and my confidence was like, I was just oozing with confidence, because I'm like, all right, I got the car, nice, apartment, hanging out with my friends, no worries. I'm like, all right, now we're gonna up the ante, and I just with that started traveling everywhere I can go. New Hampshire, New York. I was everywhere, because you're young and you're having fun. That was my mentality. So, I at one point, I ended up meeting my oldest son's mother. And then I'm like, all right, I've had enough fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, I've had enough fun. Now I'm ready to just, one person, she's the one I want to chill with and want to hang out with.
All right.
That was
Before we go there, now during all of these jobs and the car loss and everything else, how is the music going?
It took basically at that point in time I kind of put it on the back burner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay. So you're trying to get career, money.
Exactly.
We're working on shit that is actually tangible at this moment in time.
There you go.
Okay.
Because I'm like, I'm going to put that on the back burner and just focus on figuring out, because I was like, I need to figure out what I want to do with myself.
Right. And now we're done having fun and we're
Yeah.
kind of getting into a relationship and stuff like that.
Exactly.
All right.
I'm like, all right. And that, that pushed me more and more towards loving New Hampshire.
Okay.
Because
she's from New Hampshire?
All right. From Nashville. Because I met her at a club and I'm like, all right. I'm like, okay. She's a nice person. I'm ready to just stop being a player and just, one person get my, this is what I want.
Yep.
And it didn't work out, but in return, we ended up, like I said, having a son that I will not, I love with my heart. And
How old is he today?
He's 21 years old.
Yeah, that's
dude.
what I felt was coming on. I was like, holy shit, dude.
21 years old later in the service.
Oh, really?
Yes. He did his basic training and he graduated.
Holy shit.
Oh yeah,
dude.
man. He graduated right before Christmas.
Now, what part of the military?
The Army.
He's in the Army?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
Holy shit,
and
dude.
he graduated, and they let him come home for Christmas, and then he went back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he went back for his training, where basically what he's going to be doing. And it just blows my mind because I'm like, my son's 21 years old. He's a grown man. He's in the military. It's just every now and then I have to step back and say, wow, because I just never would.
Right. No. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
So I'm like,
good for him, dude. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's good for him the way things are going today, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's amazing, dude.
Oh, yeah. It's just
and you also have a daughter. How old is she?
Oh, she's 17.
17.
I've got a 21-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 10-year-old.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, that's spread out.
Wow. All right. You're just killing it, bro.
It's spread out, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
With each kid, you tend to, relax a little bit. Like my oldest, we were like, careful. This, second one, it's like, okay, we could kind of dial it back some. My third, Noah, I'm like, I got minimum energy, and he is tapping it all, dude. He's hitting every nerve, hitting every oh my God. When they say that, you tend to less and less.
Mm-hmm.
The more kids, it's a true story.
Yeah.
It is a true story.
Because I've heard that. I don't have any kids,
man,
but
dude, it is a true story. It's seriously patience. And, the third, my son Noah, it's a testing challenge with him.
Oh, right.
And that's what I call it, the testing challenge. And it's like, no, I need you to do this. I mean, it's why? It's that why? And it's like, at some point, it's like, because I'm your father, dude, because I asked you to. It gets to that point where it was my oldest. It's like I would ask, Quentin to do anything, and he'd do it. No questions asked. No questions
now
asked.
They're full of questions.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Why? It's the why.
And not to go too far off track, but you can't lie to them anymore because they just Google shit.
He's figuring out a lot of things.
Yeah. So you're in Nashua. You've met this girl. You end up having a son with her.
Mm-hmm.
And at what point in time do you pick everything up, leave Boston, and plant yourself in New Hampshire? Is it during all of this, or are you still traveling back and forth?
Still traveling back and forth.
Oh, really?
And then at what happened was, like I said, you're from Merrill Lynch. I ended up leaving there because, like I said, young dumb stage where you
young dumb and full of cum, dude.
Yeah, where you don't realize what you have, with the job.
100%.
And I'm like, all right. So it ended up not working out there, and then I ended up going to work at Solomon Smith and Barney. which is another.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you stayed in that.
I stayed in that field. I was, like I said, I was close to passing my Series 63. I failed it by 3 lousy points.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. 3 lousy points. So I mean, it was something that I enjoyed, and I saw myself doing it, in that profession. But it didn't, it didn't work out the way I wanted to. And like I said, I have no regrets, because with the jobs I've had, I consider them a life lesson.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And that's kind of how I see it all. But yeah, I ended up working at going to Solomon Smith and Barney in Manchester.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's basically on the main strip in Manchester. Working there. And that job, that was a great job as well. It's the same thing. I was basically wiring tickets, down to New York, back and forth. And unfortunately, with the 9/11 Act,
Yep.
that hit me hard, because with that, I ended up getting let go from there. Because there were three of us. There was 2 wire operators. One was, like an accountant that basically handled the money and all that, and then there was my boss, and then this is around this time things weren't working out with my son's mother and me. We things were not working out, and it was just rough. It was really, really rough, because we had ended up separating.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sucks.
So I mean, I'm trying to handle everything the best way I can. She moved out. My son went with her. I stayed at the place that we were staying at. So I was like, all right, I gotta make sure that the rent's paid. I gotta make sure that all, because it's only me and my son now. And I'm trying to figure out how to make this all work. And then all of a sudden, I walk in the office that day and they go, we got to let you go. They gave me a severance package, which was good. But that severance package I had basically had me taking care of lawyer fees and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was like I said, it was a rough moment.
Even today, when people split up, it's just messy.
Yeah.
It's messy. And I think the one thing that like nobody thinks of is like, yeah, you split up and stuff goes down. But at the end of the day, you got lawyer fees to pay for because you're not doing it on your own. You're gonna, and it same as it was back then. It's worse now, but there's always a lawyer involved. So like, I don't know if you got like an even split, it's 250 grand. You can kiss at least 75% of that to the lawyer.
But it's
horrible.
It was rough. It was extremely rough. And it was just trying to figure all that out and get all that resolved and everything. And I mean, we're much better now. My son's mother and me, we came to an understanding, which, that takes time. There's some people who can do that, you know, and as time went on, it took time with us, and we're good now. We're cool now.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's good.
Oh yeah. No, we're cool now. It's just, it was a rough process.
Well, you were both young. You're both young, and things weren't working out. And when we're young, we get angry. Our emotions take over. You don't have any actual like thinking involved in anything that you're doing. Most of the time, we acted off of emotion. I know I did.
No, that's what
I was very guilty of acting off of emotion when I was young.
So I mean, it ended up working out now, and that's kind of where it ended. And the funny thing about that was when finally I was running out of money. My son's mother's aunt, which I call them Aunt Leon and Uncle Dick, they took me in, because had they not taken me in, I would have had to go back to Boston, and that would have hurt, because my father was never a long distance father. My father was always there. Whenever I needed him, it was like he was there. That's.
So you wanted to do the same for your son?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. I didn't want to be a long distance father. That's not fair.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, that's awesome, because you hear of so many stories where the father's not in the picture, and most of the time, which aggravates the hell out of me, is that they choose that. Yeah. And I don't understand that, because I've tried to have kids and we can't. Yeah. So therefore, I get really upset when somebody has that beautiful opportunity and they throw it down the pisser. Yeah, no. And it makes me so angry. So that's great. That's good to hear, man. I'm glad that you want to be an engaged father. That's amazing.
And the funny thing is, her aunt was like, Kevin, she's like, I know if you go down to Boston, you won't be able to spend the time with your son that you're supposed to. She's like, so you can come stay with us. She's like, I'm not asking you for money or anything. I'm asking you to save your money so that way when you move out, you can move on to an apartment. That way you and your son will be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and so that right there, I mean, it was just to this day I call him my aunt, my uncle, because of what they've always been to me and how supportive they've always been. They've always been an aunt and an uncle to me. Even my kids, they go aunt and an uncle. That's what they refer to them as, because that's what they know them as. That's,
right.
That's the way what I've taught them. And staying with them, it was nice because the one thing that people don't realize, when you're a father, you know, that title means a lot. It's important to you. It's important to your children. But I didn't realize how important it was. I was like, yeah, I'm a proud father. But spending time with my oldest son alone, it was unbelievable. It was like we'd go to the beach, you know, and I'm running around and just having the time of my life. And one day, a stranger, didn't even know who he was, came up to me. He goes, you know, man, he goes, you're a proud father. He goes, I've never seen anyone have the passion and just you look like a really proud father. And some people don't understand when I say that. Good, you're a father, but you really are a father when you see that, when you feel it, and other people see it, and you don't even know.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of how I felt and how things were, and it was awesome. It was just the best time in the world for me to really bond with my son, because he was really young. He was, you know, he was a little over a year old.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
Very
I mean,
important.
oh yeah. So, you know, and then the trips down to Boston where he was, you know, coming to see my mother, and you know, I told my kids to call, you know, my mother Nana Bingo. The reason why she got that name Nana Bingo is because she would always play bingo. You know, I drive him down there, and she'd be like, all right, you know, spend the time. She goes, okay, on the way back up to New Hampshire, can you drop me off at the church so I can go play bingo? So,
no kidding.
Yeah. So that's how the kids refer to her, as Nana Bingo.
Ah.
You know, and it just, but that taught me, that truly helped me understand what it meant to be a father, you know, my youngest son. And like you said, there's some fathers out there who don't realize and understand that is the best gift in the world.
Yeah.
Life can stress you out and annoy the crap out of you, but when you go home and you just bond with your kids, it just, nothing else matters.
I would love to say I know what you're talking about, but I could only imagine, because that's something that I really, when I started getting into my middle 30s and stuff like that, I started really thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, this is something I want to do. But you know, even if it happened before then, I want to believe that I would still be there, because now it's not about me anymore.
Exactly.
And I feel like the people that don't take advantage of that are just so self-absorbed that they only care about themselves, you know? And I think that kind of shows the type of person, you know, and most of the time those type of people are not people you want in your life anyways. They usually don't bring anything positive to it.
No, but it just, you know, and during all this time, still the music wasn't there. The music I had during going through all this, I stepped away from it. I you know, because like I said, I wanted to focus on my son, and then I met my wife. I met her. This is the funny thing, is I met her because she's originally from Vermont. You see the pattern there?
Yeah. Yeah. You're just going further and further up north, dude.
I'm not going Canada. I wasn't going that far, but
no.
Not that far. But yeah, I met her because she's originally from Vermont, and at that time, you know, like I said, I had put girls on the back burner because I was like, I need to make sure that me and my son were tight, we're good, you know, we're good to go. And then some buddies of mine was like, you know, Kev, you know, we haven't seen you in a long time, man. You know, it's time to get back out there. It's time to get back out in the game, you know. And I'm like, you know, I'll give it a try. And they're like, well, there's this club, you know, called, and don't laugh at the name. It's no longer around, but it's called Flubberbuster.
Flubberbuster. Okay. What?
It's called.
Oh, all right. That is a horrible fucking name for a club. Oh my God. Flubberbuster. Well, it's busted now, right? Damn.
My boy was like, he's like, dude, he was like, the club stays open way late, stays open past 3 o'clock. He's like, you know, we'll head up there, you know, and that way he's like, you know, you can pick up where you left off. He's like, because it's time, man. I'm like, yeah, all right, we'll do this.
And what year is this?
Uh,
Just to get a kind of a feel for where we're at
let's see,
now.
we've been together for 19 years.
Because you got married to her in 2002, I think I saw. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. Because we're 19 years close to 20. Yeah, around that time.
Okay, so 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, so around 2000?
2002, around that time.
Okay.
2002, 2001. No, because what am I talking about here?
No.
Yeah, 2002, 2000, around that time.
Around that time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, right around there. Because if you got married in 2002, I assumed that you have been together for at least a couple years.
Yeah, you go.
You know what I mean?
2002, 2001, because we were dating, and she ended up moving down here.
No kidding.
Yeah, she ended up because like I said, I had met her, and I was like, all right, I'm looking for, I'm at the club, and I'm like, I'm looking for a specific type of woman. My thing was, I'm looking for a woman who has, career, has goals, has just things that she want to do with her life.
Right.
I don't have a problem with you, getting your dance on me, but I'm looking for someone who fits that package, fits that deal.
Yes.
And
sometimes you don't always find that at the club, though.
That's the weird thing, dude. That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
it's a hit or miss.
Yeah, you're going to the club and you're looking for this type of woman. And honestly, I saw her, at the club, and I'm walking around, checking the ladies out, and then I see her over there, and she just, she had. It was just something about her. She had that I'm like, okay, all right. I'm like, I'm feeling it. And I didn't even talk to her yet.
Oh, wow.
But I'm feeling the vibe from her. And, I walked past her a couple times because, how you got to do that walk, like, let her know you around, the presence is there. And I'm like, okay, all right, she's over there. All right. And so I walk up to her and I go, my friend said that I shouldn't talk to you. And she goes, what do you mean? I go, because you look so serious.
That's awesome.
I was like, you look so serious.
Too serious for the club. Don't talk to her. Kevin's like, no. I'm looking for serious. Here we go. It's on. Let me see how serious you are.
So, I mean, I ended up, we ended up, dancing, getting our dance on and everything like that. And then afterwards we went out, outside and talked a little bit. And I had told her, it was just, everything was right. The mood was right. It was just, everything was perfect. So, I told her, I said, listen, I said, I have a son, and I said, I'm going to be honest and upfront with you. I said, my son is my love, my life, my priority. I said, he comes first. I said, so I'm just letting you know upfront how things are. And I said to her, I said, if that's a problem, I said, there's no point in me giving you, my phone number or you giving me your phone number. Right. I said, because I want you to understand that. It was just the vibe was, everything was so right that I wanted to put everything up front on the table.
And I'm just going to say this. You should.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
The one thing that you should never do if you want to start something with somebody is start lying to them right off the bat.
There you go.
Just be as upfront and as uncomfortable as that might make you, it's probably going to make the other person more comfortable. And if it doesn't work out because of that, then that's okay, because that's probably a good sign.
Yeah.
If you bring your baggage, not all of it, but if you bring the stuff that's important to you to the front of the relationship, that there's no you blindsided me.
There you go. And
you know what I mean? So I think that's really good advice anyways.
Yeah, no, you I wanted to get that. I wanted to let her know, because it's just, I was like, hey, this is what you have in front of you. This is what I'm letting you know. And I told her, I said, if you don't, and she goes, no, she goes, the thing, and that, what she said impressed me so much, because she goes, no, I'm glad that you told me. She says, I would be mad if you didn't tell me.
Yeah, see?
And I was like, okay. I said, I was like, all right, we're cool. I said, so, let's take it from there. And then as time went on, we ended up just constantly talking on the phone, because it was truly a long distance relationship. I come up on weekends. She'd come down on weekends, hang out with my, my aunt and uncle.
Working that long distance relationship. Really?
Yeah.
That is so unheard of.
Oh, yeah.
Usually long distance always.
No, it was perfect, and it all worked out. And then finally, the one day I called and I said, listen, I got to tell you, I'm when you're not around me, I miss you. You know, I just want to tell you I love you, and I'm like, this is right. And from there on, she, you know, moved down here. It just, everything has just been going so perfectly. You know,
that's great.
Oh yeah, everything. You know, like I said, our you know, son Noah, the youngest, he's the tester. Oh my God.
So during all of this, does the spark for making music come back?
It's
or is it takes more time?
It's slowly creeping in. But the problem that I learned when I moved up here was that, see, the city, you have so many outlets where you can get music from, or you can do music.
Right.
Up here, it's like, I don't know anyone. I don't have any connects. Who do I go to? Who I talk to? You know?
Okay. Yep.
And that was my problem. It was just like, I mean, I was home writing lyrics and writing stuff, you know, on my, you know, my books and all that, but I had no one to hook me up with the music, because what I do is I just sing. I don't make the music. Usually, you know, someone will hook me up with some music and say, hey, can you flow on this?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And that's kind of where my forte was. Down when I was in Boston, I had unlimited access.
I was going to say, you could play anywhere in Boston.
You know, and I had people that, you know, work with me before when I was with the group, because we had certain contexts we had that would do music for us. Because at the time, flashback when I was in the group, doing the New Edition stuff is great. And I love New Edition. You know, I'm not knocking them. But at some point, you got to say, hey, we need to start doing our own stuff if people want to take us seriously.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, you can't just keep doing cover songs, because then you're just a cover band.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it.
No, so I was like, all right. I said, you know, what's the next plan from there? And at that point, then we ended up just drifting apart. Me at the same time, I kept the contact that we had that was doing music, and his name is Matt Reyes. And he still has a production called World One Production.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I ended up still staying with him, because I was like, listen, I said, I don't know what's going to happen with this, what's going on with the group. I said, but I still want to continue the music. And I ended up staying and working with him, and he ended up making some of the most killer beats, killer songs for me.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, yeah, because he would sit, you know, and the thing about him that I love was some of the songs we'd sit down and come up with together. This dude is just musically, everything.
Wow.
You know,
So when you meet people like that, it's just incredible how their creativity goes.
Unbelievable.
And I don't have that. It's so awesome.
It was unbelievable. So I still did my music with him and worked with him. And then, like I said, as time went on, it kind of, you know, we drifted away.
Yep.
You know, I connect with him now, and it's funny how
just like anything though. You know,
it's funny how he'll send me. He'll go, "You remember the song that we worked on?" I listened to it. And I'm like, "Oh man, I was so raw back then. I was so raw, dude."
You hear the old shit.
Oh yeah, I was so raw back then. I look at it, and like I said, you know, flash forward, there wasn't that kind of outlet up here.
Right.
It just wasn't. It wasn't that type of outlet or anyone I knew up here that I can, you know, do the music with. So that truly went into the back burner. And I mean, like I said, I'm just, you know, career, this and that, and trying to get ahead of the game. And then finally, you know, I'm like, all right, I went from doing tickets and trades and all that, and you know, wire orders and all that to, from there, I went to doing mortgages. Like I said, I've had many jobs, dude. I've had several jobs, and they've all been rewarding, but I'm not going to lie. The most rewarding job is, and you're probably going to be like, get out of here, you're lying, was working at Walmart.
I'm not going to say you're lying, because, I mean, it wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't. And
it wasn't.
The reason why I say that job was rewarding, because after going from, you know, being a wire operator, going to do mortgage loans, and then going into that, the point where I realized that I didn't want to stay in that field anymore was basically when I was doing mortgages, I was working Sunday to Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And this is at the time when I had my youngest son and my daughter. And imagine working 7 days a week on Sundays, calling people to try to do mortgages for them and try to refinance and do a
nightmare.
Yeah. So I mean, and then you
bothering people on a Sunday.
That's what I'm saying.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, that's exactly. That's what I'm talking about. So finally, the when I realized that that wasn't for me anymore was one day. It was a Friday night. I was working and I was doing mortgages, and I had to drive to a house to pitch the deal.
Oh, Jesus.
This house was in the middle of, I don't even know where the town was, but it was in the middle of nowhere. It was basically a town that it was a crater, and it was a town in that crater, because I'm going up a hill and I'm like, what? And this is before they had, the tracker and all that crap.
Oh, okay, GPS.
Yes.
Yeah.
Way before. Yeah.
So this is probably before MapQuest.
Yes,
Remember you print that shit out.
That's it.
And you have to carry it around with you,
brother. That is it. Because I'm sitting there with a piece of paper and I'm like, all right, you got to make a left. You got to make
dude. You're trying to read and drive. You're like, what the? Oh my God! But it was great because we finally had directions.
Yes, dude.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm driving through there. I'm driving up there, and then I go to the house, pitch the deal, and I'm thinking it's a good deal. And I'm driving back home. You're going down.
Yep.
Foggy, couldn't see anything, dude.
Great.
So I'm like, I'm driving like 10 miles an hour because I'm like, I'm not going over this cliff because, dude, it was so foggy. And as you can see, cars are coming up. You're going down. You can't see anything. So imagine if you veer just a little bit off, you are gone. You're dead.
Jesus Christ.
Yes. Yeah, dude. It was that's why I was driving slow, because I'm like, I love myself too much. Kevin, slow it down. I got home 2 hours later. 2 hours later.
At least you got home.
Yeah, I got home.
You got home.
And then, and then there was one day where I was just working, and my son, and this is when he was young, and he goes, Dad, he goes, if you quit your job, then you could spend more time with us. My oldest. He said that to me, and that it was just like a knife just went right through my, it just scarred me. And I'm like, I can't, I'm like, you know what? I got to make a choice.
Yep.
So I decided to trade. And I had to tell people I traded my, my bronze for my brains. I said, all right, I'm going to just, do this. And then my wife, she really helped, because one day she came to me, she goes, Walmart's hiring. And I was like, okay. Oh, yeah, sure. No, she goes, no, you don't understand. Walmart is hiring.
Oh, really?
She gave me that look like, what? You need to go down there. And I'm like, okay. She's like, no, you need to go down there. And I'm like, all right. I went down there and I met Nina.
Yeah.
And what killed me the most is when I went to the interview, I was in my suit and tie, and I was fully, and she goes, are you sure you want to do this? She goes, yeah. She goes, you're the only person I've ever known to show up for an interview in a suit and tie. She goes, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, this is what I want to do. And then, with Walmart, I think it was 6 years. I believe it was somewhere around there. 6 years later, I ended up, leaving there and then working for the Merrimack School District.
Okay.
And this is where the music starts to come back to me.
So even at Walmart,
yeah.
And when I met you and everything like that, and we worked together, you still weren't doing the music?
No,
really? I made the assumption in my brain already that like when you got into Walmart, that freed you up to do your music stuff. Wow.
No, that happened. What that allowed me to do was the fact that it allowed me to be at my son's, games. Any games like when he was playing baseball, even though it was at that age, it wasn't considered baseball. It was basically him sitting out in the field and the kids punching each other, down there with the cup and all that. That's what that was. But I was so happy with that, because that gave me the time to spend time with him, his games, see what's going on, and so on and so forth, as well as and around this time, my daughter too. Because what we would do is, I'd work the 11 to 7, come home, and take a nap or whatever. And then my daughter, what we would do is like, I'd spend, stay awake so that way I can make sure I know what was going on with her. We'd go to the pool, in our town. And, I was known as the dad, because the majority of the time at the public pool, summertime, most of the mothers are there. I believe like I was one of 3 dads that would be at the pool, and the mothers would be like, oh my God, you look so tired. I'm like, yeah, I'm just, and they're like, okay, you could take a little nap. We'll watch her for you.
That's awesome. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. See, well, that's like the thing that Why would you pass up on that? I mean, you know what I mean? Like all these guys that don't. It's like that's what you get for doing that because all the women are like, wait a minute, this is flipped. This is like a flipped script.
Oh yeah,
and this is amazing. Help him out.
Yeah,
Help him out.
You
know what I mean? So that's awesome.
Oh, it was the best, and honestly, that allowed me to spend more time with my kids.
Okay,
you know,
so the going to Walmart gave you more time for your kids.
Yeah, it honestly, it helped out dramatically because the thing about it was I was no longer stressed out.
Gotcha.
I was no longer stressed out because I'm
a lot less stress.
Oh yes, I'm changing from that lifestyle to this lifestyle, and going to Walmart, you do what you need, do what you have to do your job, and then you go home.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it was. And I wasn't 7 days a week working.
No, definitely not.
And you know, and that helped out a lot.
Yeah.
And like I said, as you could see when I was working there, usually I'd have my headphones on singing and you guys would be like,
yeah,
where's Kevin? Oh, just follow the voice.
Just follow the voice, man. We always knew you were singing and dancing.
Just follow the voice. And like I said, the music was still wasn't there because like I said, I wanted to make sure my kids were okay and the resources they really weren't up here. And then what changed that was Walmart. They do every year this talent show. They do the talent show thing that they have, you know, outside. And Tony, you know, I said, yeah. I told Tony, I said, I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the audition. You know, I'm gonna do the talent show. And I ended up doing it, and I kind of shocked a lot of people because they knew that I could sing, but they didn't realize
how well you can sing. Yes.
So so the song that I did was Journey. Don't Stop Believing.
Dude, that's a great track.
Oh yeah,
great track.
So I was singing that, and everyone's like, "Oh my God!" They're like, "Wow, that's Kevin. That's coming from him. That's his voice." They're like, "We always thought you were a big cuddly bear, and we didn't know you could sing." And I was like, "Yeah." I said, and Tony was like, "Kevin, he was like, that's really good. Really, you know how Tony acts."
Tony, yes.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, and I ended up winning that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I came in first place, and you know, and I was like, all right, I was like, okay, everything's going good, everything's fine. Maybe I should start, you know, looking back into seeing what I could do and seeing.
Yeah, dig into that passion.
Dig into it more. And I'm like, people, they seem to like it, and it just from that point on, I said, all right, what do I need to do to get back into this? And you know, and majority of the stuff that I was writing, I would have the melodies in my head. So I kind of knew how the song would start and how it would all work out from there.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I ended up, you know, linking up with some people from the Walmart in Manchester.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, cause they ended up linking with them, and I'm like, all right, you know, I'm still going to focus on making sure my family's right. Cause I wasn't as all I knew as I am now. So I had to make sure everything was right. Everything was good. And then long story short, I ended up leaving Walmart.
Yep.
And then because I think
did you leave before or after I got fired?
It was because the first time I was there, I was in the Amherst one.
Yes.
And I ended up leaving there because of all the craziness that was going on there.
Yeah, Amherst was getting nuts, and I think I had gone to days when you were still on nights, but then I got fired because my piss came back hot.
Yeah.
And that was 8 years ago now.
Yeah,
8 years ago.
Because like I said, I'm at the district.
That was like the last time we really talked was when I got fired. It was over. I wasn't literally allowed back. So you ended up leaving there probably a little bit after that. Then
because I ended up taking I ended up leaving. And then I came back, but I came back and worked at the one in Manchester because Nina was in Manchester.
Yeah, okay. Really?
I ended up working there.
Now, were you at the old location down by the Honda dealership?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was before they went Super Center?
Oh,
yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I ended up going there because what I was doing, this is when I had got the job at the district as well. Because I was working at the school. And then I would, once I got out of there at school was 3 to 11, I get out of there, and then I would go to Manchester.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I would go.
So you're doing both of them.
I was doing both of them.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Because I just wanted to, that's what I'm saying. I was working to make sure everything, because my wife, God, she's always had my back. She's always been supportive. And I'm like, we have to make sure that everything's taken care of. Everything, bills are paid, everything's all taken care of. So it worked out perfectly. And then finally, my body could not.
I was going to say, you eventually shut down.
Your body can only do so much. And as time went on, I'm getting older. I'm like, no, and Melissa, she one day, she goes to me, she goes, Kevin, she goes, why are you doing this? I said, because I said that extra money makes it. She goes, yeah, but she goes, you're killing yourself. She goes, you're killing yourself in your body. She goes, why, just figure out what you want to do. She goes, but if you don't do this, because it's going to hurt you in the long run. And then I said, you know what? I said, I talked to my wife. I said, babe, I said, I can't, my body can't physically do it anymore. I can't do it. I said, so I'm going to step away from Walmart and I'm just going to focus on working for the district.
Nice.
And it all worked out. It worked out perfectly because, and like I said, people might knock Walmart, might have issues with Walmart. I don't have an issue with it. Reason why is because when I first started working there, Nina, she's like, okay, she goes, I want you to, invest in your 401k. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I just want, she goes, no, listen,
no.
Invest in it. Then that way, she goes, when you retire, you got that money there still.
Yep.
And that's all I was thinking of. Well, at the time, me and my wife, we were, renting.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was like, I'm sick and tired of renting. I'm sick and tired of paying someone else's mortgage.
Yep.
I'm like, no, we can't. I'm like, we were hard workers. We should be able to enjoy our own, benefits.
Yep.
We should be able to enjoy the fact that we can come into our own house.
Yep. And
we're paying our own mortgage and we're getting credit for it. That was the thing that I talked to my wife and she's like, yeah, you're right. So, I was like, all right, I said, I got this little Walmart thing, this 401k thing. I said, let me see how much is in there.
Surprise you?
Yeah, because you can use that money if you're a first-time home buyer.
That's what I did.
Yeah, use it as your first-time home buyer, and you don't get hit with the penalties.
No penalties, no taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
It was awesome.
Yes. So I called them and I said, hey, I'm gonna check out, and they're like, and it told me, and I'm like, all right, cool, thank you. I hung up the phone. I said, hey, babe, let's do this. I said, let's make it happen.
That's so crazy that you did the exact same thing I did to get this fucking place. I was like, hey, what do we got in the and they told me, and I was like, sold.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I got my down payment because you're like, how do I come up with a down payment?
That's
401k,
and that's difficult part because most people, they go, I want to buy a house, and it's like, you got to save up a certain percentage just to get in that house, just as a down payment.
Yep.
And that is the hardest part about when most people trying to get that money, because this day and age, you don't, that luxury you don't have because the cost of living is constantly going up, dude. Saving is extremely complicated.
I think this has been one of the worst years ever.
And the thing that annoys me about that is cost of living is constantly going up. Salaries sometimes are going up, but you got to have, constant cost of living it should all be compatible with what you're making.
Yes. You
shouldn't have to work harder to just survive.
Or to just do the same thing you were doing yesterday.
Exactly. And I'm like, how does that work out? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
I
agree with you on that.
And that's the one thing. And I mean, we ended up getting the house, and everything was just, like I said, everything kept flowing and working.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, when I'm at the high school, I'm there, I ended up getting the 3 to 11 shift. And for some reason, the job gods helped me out, because I remember coming back from a vacation, and one of the buddies at work, he was like, yeah, did you hear about them posting about the day spot, the day position? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because the thing about that is, to get a day spot, you got to be there a long time. Because they go seniority first.
Okay, yeah. Schools, stuff like that. Yeah, always seniority first.
So I thought he was, joking with me, pulling my chain. And I'm like, he's like, no, it's right here, the job posting. So I posted for it, and I'm like, I'm not going to get it. I'm like, they're like 6-7 people ahead of me. Lo and behold, my boss comes to me, he goes, and he didn't want to tell me because he knew that 3 to 11, I was one of the hard workers there.
Yeah.
And he comes up to me, he goes, yeah, so you got that 6:30 to 2:30 shift. You're now officially a day custodian.
Really?
Yeah. Like I said, dude, the job gods were looking out for me, man. And I'm like, oh, because my fear was at this time, my youngest.
Yep.
I wasn't going to be able to do the things and spend time with him like I spent with my other kids. And that was my biggest fear. I was like, I'm not going to be able to see his basketball games or anything like that. I was missing. I was like,
Missing out.
I felt bad because I'm like, I'm missing out on this, and it's not fair to him when I had that opportunity with my other kids, and this was perfect, dude. 6:30 in the morning to 2:30. I get home before he does. If he wants to do basketball or anything like that, I am there. If he, needs me to be the coach, I am there. Yeah.
Wow.
It was if that one time it all worked out.
Well, that's the way these things go.
Yeah.
They just fall into place.
Dude,
things just fall into place. Like where you were compared to where you wound up is just because of the way that your life went, and everything kind of worked itself out, even though you may have lost here or gained here or lost there. Everything works itself out. You just have to give everything time.
And that's what it's all about. Because that was my biggest fear. I'm like, how, and I told my wife, I said, babe, how are we going to make this work?
Right.
And when this came, it changed everything, because I'm like, all right, babe, we're good now. Whatever sport Noah wants to play, I'm there.
That's awesome.
So it's like, all right, Dad, I want to play basketball, or I want to play football. I end up being the coach. 9 times out of 10, I'm the coach, which I love.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, yeah. Like this right now, he's playing. He's doing basketball. I'm the coach. So I'm coaching him, and and the other players. And one thing I learned is, as a parent, your kids don't listen to you when you coach.
Do your kids ever listen to you?
No, they really don't listen to you. When
Okay.
No, they really, it's like, because they're like, all right, I got that dad pass, even though he's a coach. So I'm like,
okay.
I'm
so
like,
now they're like, that's my dad.
Yeah. It's like, so I'm like, Noah, I'm like, all right, I need you to, guard this kid here. And it's why? And I'm like, and I'll explain to him before we even go to practice. I'm like, buddy, if I ask you to do things, it's because it's going to better you and help you. So you need to listen to me. If I tell you to guard this person, guard this person. If I tell you to dribble or shoot this way, I said it's only to get you better.
Yeah.
And as soon as right out the air.
Of course. He's like, yeah, Minecraft. Yeah. Or freaking Aquafina. I don't know what they're watching today.
I'm like, but that's kind of how it is. It's just, but like I said, this has allowed me to truly, be there for him, because that was my biggest fear, that he was gonna miss out on that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
I hate to do this, but I've got to use the bathroom. And let's pause on that, because I feel like that's going to be a great position to come back on, because I feel like we're getting close to the music here.
Getting to the climactic part.
Oh my God. I apologize, everyone. Slowdownclothing.bigcartel.com. That's slowdownclothing.bigcartel.com. You're not sure how to spell that? It's right here at the bottom of the screen, or you can click the link in the description below the video. I love this website. I can't express this enough. Look, they got brand new winter jackets for your skiing and snowboarding needs. They've got brand new skateboards. Get some socks. All right? They got hats. They got leggings. They got t-shirts, they got gloves, they've got everything you're looking for all the seasons, all year round. All their products are great quality at a great price, and you can only get them right here. That's right, slowdownclothing.bigcartel.com. That's slowdownclothing.bigcartel.com. You're not sure how to spell it? It's right here at the bottom of the screen, or you can click the link in the description below the video. New Hampshire Vape Gallery is located at 180 Lafayette Road, Seabrook, New Hampshire, down the street from Home Depot and next to Smoke Rings, where we are open 7 days a week from 10:30 to 8 p.m. And you can give us a call, 603-814-4171. We have got it all. That's right. Flavored juices, menthol juices, flavored menthol juices, disposables, rechargeable disposables, a CBD, HHC, THCP, CBD, loose flower. I mean, we have just got everything you're looking for today at New Hampshire Vape Gallery, and I'm excited to tell you that we have everything in stock. Everything's going out as fast as it's coming in, and it's an exciting time. All the juices are switching over to synthetic nicotine, which I think is going to be overall better for everything. And we have every possible way to help you get rid of those cigarettes. That's right. That's the whole point to vaping in the first place. Get rid of the cigarettes and then hopefully get rid of nicotine. A lot easier said than done, but we are here to help you do it. That's right. Come and see us, the guys at the gallery, and we're going to help you get away from those cigarettes. All right? And you can do this here at New Hampshire Vape Gallery, located at 180 Lafayette Road, Seabrook, New Hampshire, down the street from Home Depot and next to Smoke Rings, where we're open 7 days a week from 10:30 to 8 p.m. Feel free to give us a call, 603-814-4171. And as always, I look forward to seeing you there. NaturalBossNH.com. That's NaturalBossNH.com. I love this website. I absolutely do love it. They got that foot and body soak that's great for melting those stressful days away. The body balm and the lip balm are great to help your cracked, dry skin get some moisture back to it and heal that up. I love it. The salve, amazing. Worked great on my neck when it was really dry and the cold. It was awful. And that salve did amazing. Yeah, they got beard oil, 2 different scents, Woodsman's and Dapper. And then, of course, Feeling Rosy Foot and Bath Soak, $6 on sale while supplies last. You can get all of this here at naturalbossnh.com. That's naturalbossnh.com. Buy one or all 6 of these products today. And now back to Talking with Kevin. We are back into recording.
All right.
Woo! I feel so much better. All right, so we're at the school. Things are working out. You are now there. You're coaching. You're doing all your stuff. Everything's going really, really good. And this is when the music kicks back?
This is when it starts to. This is when it all starts to come back. You know, because like I said, I'm at the school, and I'm still doing. I'm at school, and I'm like, all right, I'm saying to myself, Kev, do you still have the voice? You still got everything going on? Is it still there? And then a buddy of mine, he goes, there's a spot where you can go where basically, underground artists just like you that are up and coming and trying to get into business and trying to get people to know who they are. The site you go on there, and usually they have some artists that are just specifically focused on making music, just the beats and everything. And then you have some that are singers, and you have it's kind of basically an underground communication of music. And he's like, all right, why don't you try the site out? And the site it's actually called Band Lab.
Okay.
Just type that in, and you'll get it'll get you on there. And honestly, you'll hear some music, and you'll hear artists that are not on what you're hearing now on local radio stations or just in general. And you can tell that these artists are hungry.
Yeah.
You can tell that they're like, all right, even if I don't make it, I'm still gonna have that passion. I'm still gonna have that drive. And the artists that are on there, honestly, I listen to them more than I listen to what's out now.
Oh, okay.
So if you ever have a chance, just go on the Band Lab and type that in, and you it's artists from all around. It's not just local artists. Mm-hmm. It's even artists from like overseas.
Well, what I'll do is I can put a little thing at the bottom of the screen, and we can put a link in the description in the video. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so people will just be able to click that link and just go there.
And I've linked up with so many people, so many musicians from there. And they're honest with you. They'll tell you, hey, if it's not really you, they'll let you know. And that I respect that the most, because I hate those artists that put stuff out and you go, why did you put it out? It doesn't sound like you, or it sounds like someone else.
Okay.
And those are the type of artists that I'm like, you can only get so far with that. Have your own style, be your own individual. and people respect you more for that. And on there, they they're straight up. They'll tell you, and on there, I ended up getting, I think it was over right now. I think I'm at 1.9 something followers. So I'm 1.9 thousand followers. I'm doing good.
Oh,
yeah.
On Spotify
on
or
BandLab.
on BandLab?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because like I said, that's all underground and up and coming. It's not, they're not commercial.
That's great.
Yeah, they're not,
and constructive criticism is also extremely like I always welcome it.
Yeah.
I like as I've gotten older, I've realized it's not somebody tearing me apart or picking you up.
Mm-hmm.
It's they're giving you something like you need to work on this, and it's not a bad thing to have that pointed out and to work on whatever that is. That's good. It's good for you.
Plus, that's the only way you're gonna grow.
Right, and that's what 100%. That's the only way you grow.
If you're surrounded by people that are yes men, that
you ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you're already there, then you're good. But if you're not there yet, that'll just hold you back.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Oh, yeah. So I ended up linking on there. And, I ended up hooking up with some people, that was like, all right, I got the music for you. Can you flow on this? Can you flow on this? And I ended up getting a lot of hits of people saying, hey, can you flow on this music, flow on this music? And that kind of started me off to that got me back into the game. That truly got me.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, that truly got me back.
So this is getting that fire ignited.
It's getting me back in the game. So I'm like, all right, and I'm writing lyrics and everything, and I'm flowing on it. I've got the software that's like, okay, I can do this.
Nice.
And that was a cool thing about BandLab as well. They have the software that'll help you, program or figure out how you want your music to be.
Okay, so they have a program for you to like make your own beats and music and rhythm and breaks and stuff like that.
So
okay,
and if you and if say you're an artist that you don't use that site, but you want to load your music on there, you can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then if you want to share that music with other people, so that they can come up with a song or some lyrics for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you share, and then they can like take it and they can add to it, and then they bring it back, and so you got like almost a full collaboration with like anybody.
Exactly.
So if you like this artist, you're like, hey, I came up with this. Check. Okay, all right.
And that's
nice community.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's how I got involved in that, and one song turned into another song. Next thing you know, I'm pumping out songs, and the quality, it's good. Everything's good.
I've listened to a lot of your tracks. They're pretty good. I'm not saying that none of them were bad.
No.
I like the music. I like the sound. I like the rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of artists that are up and coming, or they drop stuff to YouTube and stuff like that. It's like, well, the track and the idea was good, but where's the pieces that I was, you know what I mean? But like you told me about everything that you've been doing. I think it was almost 2 months ago now.
Yeah.
So I've listened to about 17 to 20 tracks of yours, and they're good. I like the just the beats and the drops and the breaks and everything going on. You do there was like some dance, there's some rap.
Oh yeah.
I was like, wow, there's such a nice variety of stuff.
So that's how I came up with the style. That's why I call it Wild Child.
Okay.
That's where that's from. It's just if I hear a beat, and like it doesn't have to strictly be hip hop. It could be country. There's one song that I worked on called Lake House Party. Yep. And that's a country song. It's straight country song. And then when someone sent me that beat, they said, hey, I got a country beat. I want you to work on it. Tell me what you think. Can you make lyrics for it? And I sat down and I'm like, how can I do this? And I heard the beat and I'm like, all right, I'm like, Lake House Party, sunny days. And I'm like, all right, okay, I got that. And I'm like, all right, I'm saying to myself, how can I make this a country song, but have that feel to it where it's strictly country, but it's a summer song where you're at the lake house hanging out with your friends.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, I'm like, I got that chorus hook. I'm like, all right. And then I was like, so long, no winter time. And I'm like, all right, I got that. And it ended up forming into a song, and that's, country.
That's
Lake
awesome.
House Party. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, so I got that country song. What else can I do? And I, dipped into reggae, dipped in, it just that's how I developed the style Wild Child. It's like whatever fits your mood. If you know, but you got to make sure you're coming on point with it, and it's just not you're just doing it. But whatever fits your mood, however the song flows, that's how I flow with it.
It's really incredible to hear this because I have to go back to Walmart where you're just singing and bebopping around the building, you know, follow the voice, stuff like that. So I was always like, it was always comical. It was always fun. And it never seemed like, so it's nice to hear that it's turned into something more serious. And I love hearing that because I would have never known that you had done this. And if it wasn't for me getting back on Facebook, to be honest with you, I was like, oh, I've been off of Facebook for like 6 years, you know, and then I wanted to promote this thing. And I was like, and that's how we linked up again. And then I didn't realize that you were actually doing it. You know what I mean? It wasn't just fun. It's not just comical. It's actual tracks laid down, good verses, and thought behind all the instrumentals and stuff like that. So
my thing was to never. My thing is to never try to sound like someone else or try to, you know, I don't want to be in the category of like a mumble rapper. Or you know, because there's some rappers out there.
Yeah, because then you're stuck.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that.
Yeah,
you know, when like I said, it helped the fact that, like I said, my dad when I was young, I can remember him playing music, you know, until 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and I mean and the neighbors are like, yeah, that's Milton, that's my dad, you know, he's playing the music, and then I can remember there was a side of me saying, okay, you know, there's that music. What other music is out there? You know, then listening to the Aerosmith, and I'm like, okay. And then listening to country, then listening, you know, so I kind of had exposure to all sides of music.
Oh, wow.
You know,
that's awesome.
Yeah. You know, and I'm like, and then I had my grunge and my rock stage where, you know, I'm listening to Evanescence and all, it's just, you know, I'm listening to all that. So I got hit and exposed to a lot of, you know, type of music styles, and that helped me craft my style to what I have now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then what really got the hits and people noticing who I am, you know, my style and everything was the kids at the high school. One day, you know, a kid walks up to me, and I was at the high school, and he goes, Kevin, you know, do you do music or do you sing or anything like that? I said, yeah, I do. I said, you know, I do my little thing here and there. And they're like, really? It was like, really, you do? I said, yeah. I said, do you have any songs out there? I said, yeah. I said, actually, I have a couple songs out there. I said, check me out on SoundCloud. Check me out, you know, on YouTube and all those. And they're like, all right, really? And I said, yeah. And I gave them, you know, my name and everything, the artist I'm under. And all of a sudden the next day came back, one of the kids was like, wow, you really are, you know, you really do. You really are an artist. I said, yeah. And then what's from that one individual at the school, I mean, this was, like I said, I've been at the district for over 9 years. So you can imagine this started 6 years ago, because when I went on the day shift, from that point on up until now, every year, you know, kids are coming in and they're like, do you do this? And then their brothers and sisters are saying, hey, that's the janitor there. He has a SoundCloud account. You know, and it's his music.
That's hilarious.
It's like he has, you know, he's on YouTube and all that, and he has the music and all that. So with what I have now, like I said, I have over 100 songs.
That's awesome.
So I've been, you know, I've been constantly, you know, writing lyrics and doing that. But I has of right, because one day I had to stop and sit down and say, really, how many songs do I have actually out there that's on all these sites? And I counted, and it was over 100 songs, and I was blown away.
Wow.
Yeah. I was blown away. I'm like, all right, so, you know, and the kids, usually when I put something new out, you know, they'll come to me and they'll go, Kevin, when's that new stuff coming out from you? When's that new hot stuff coming out? I'm like, I'm working on it. They're like, all right, you know, just let me know when it comes out. And, you know, I let them know. What usually happens is they get notifications, because they follow me. Yeah. So usually when I put something out, you know, I get that ding, and it's like, you know, it's out there. You know, and they usually come back to me. They go, Kevin, that's really good. And that's really, I like that beat and everything, the song, the lyrics. You know, you
and not for nothing, but their opinion is actually really important.
Yep.
Because that's the next generation.
Yep.
So they're the ones absorbing everything. You know, it's not the older crowd that you need to be accepted by.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, well, I need, it's like, no, that's the crowd. If you're not in with them, you're probably not going to do very well.
Exactly.
So that's really incredible to get that feedback from those guys. You know what I mean?
You know, and that's what I love the most, the input from them. Because I tell them, I go, honestly, what you think? I tell them, be honest with me. Tell me the truth. What do you think about the song? How do you, you know, and they go, oh, you know, you it sounds a little, you might need to add this or add that or change this. And you know, it's good that their opinion, because they're the ones who are going to like it.
Yeah. 100%, dude. That's your target audience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I deal with the same thing with the podcast. My target, my audience is average of 25 to 44. But I have a small percentage of 18 to that 22 mark. And it's grown over, and then that's important because even though 25 to 44 is a good age bracket, I'm trying to get a lot of my messages out to the people before you turn 21, because even though I don't want to always be talking about alcohol and addiction and stuff like that, it is very important, but that's when the addiction and the stuff happens. And sometimes that's when it's happening and you don't even know it's happening. So if I can help point something out before they get into their 20s, before it can actually ruin their life forever, then that's what I want to do. And with music, that's what they're doing. They're listening to music 24/7. I haven't listened to music in 6 years.
Oh, it's just constantly.
So it's a different, even though like same ideas, you know, podcasting, music. It you know, your audience, you want to be targeting those guys. Always. That's going to be your come up. You know what I mean? Is the younger crowd.
And I mean, they like I said, they seem to love it. You know, and it's kind of restored my passion for the music.
Now even though this kind of goes, what got you in the news? Now I hold on. I tried to find this. I saw you on the news. I watched the friggin', I don't remember if it was Channel 9 or what. And me and Nicole are like, that's Kevin. What's he doing on the news? So and because it was so fresh, you could find the article, you could click on it, you know what I mean? But then I tried to find it so that I could bring it up and actually have it for the podcast. I couldn't find it. So it was a singing and dancing janitor. And
it's the Hi-Five Custodian. This was before
Hi-Five Custodian. Okay, so I'm totally wrong.
Yeah, that's
fine. I'm used to being wrong. 100%.
This was before COVID. This was way before COVID.
That's why I couldn't find it.
What had happened was, like I said, when I started working on the day shift, I heard the stories about how basically they would, you know, the kids, how they would treat the custodians, the day custodian. And I said to myself, okay, I'm coming in here. No one really knows me. But at the same time, I still want you to respect me just like I'm going to respect you. And what had happened was, it started from basically the lunch breaks. Now, you remember you were in high school and you're in the lunchroom, you know, you're throwing stuff on the floor. You could really care less about, you know. I decided that I wasn't going to be that custodian. I was going to be the custodian that says, hey, you know, you dropped that on the floor. Please pick it up. You know, it's a common respect and courtesy thing. Or I was going to be that custodian that says, hey, you left your lunch tray on the table. Can you help me out? You know, can you pick up after yourself? Because if you're not, you know, it's a life lesson. If you're not picking up after yourself at school, and you're not doing it at home, you're not learning anything at all. You're just basically, you're like, okay, everyone's going to clean up after me.
Yeah.
You know, and it got, you know, that one day I went in there and, you know, the kids were throwing stuff on the floor and making a mess. And I said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to change that. We're going to change that. And I talked to, the principal, and there was a kid one day where I said to him, I said, hey, can you pick that up that you just threw at me? And he goes, hey, I don't need to do that. You know, my parents' tax money pays your salary. You know, gave me that attitude. Okay. And I said, okay. I said, so we're going to do this. We're going to play this game. And I had talked to one of the principals at the high school, because there are actually 3 principals there.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, there's 3.
Three principals?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
you know, and they each, you know, there's 3 there, and believe it or not, those 3, they take on a lot. They take on a lot. And I talked to one of them, Mr. Berger, and I said, yeah, Mr. Berger, I just want to let you know I was in the cafeteria and this kid said this to me, and I said to him, you know, I said, you know, I'm still a person, you know, you know, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to let anyone talk to me like that. I'm not going to let a kid disrespect me like that. I said, because if you do that, if you let that happen, then they're going to continue to do it. I said, so we need to, what are we going to do about this? From the get-go, he was like, nope, that's unacceptable, Mr. Freeman. We're going to fix this. We're going to resolve this. You know, and he actually talked to the kid, said, hey, Mr. Freeman, you don't do that to him. You don't disrespect him. You don't treat him that way. And as time went on, that respect factor, you know, it kept going. Kids actually started respecting. They started doing what I asked them to do. I didn't have any issues or anything like that with any kid whatsoever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Oh, yeah. You know, I had that support from them. And then what had happened was I was like, all right, you know, I said, what can I do to show my way of saying, hey, thanks for respecting me like I respect you? I said, you know, every morning when you were in school and you'd come in and you'd be tired and you'd have to look like, oh, my God.
I don't want to be here.
I don't want to be here.
My parents made me get
exactly. here. So I said to myself, I said, you know what I'm going to do? I said, I'm going to stand at the door and welcome them in. I'm going to stand at the door and say, hey, you know, hi, thanks for coming in. What's up? High fives, you know. I'm going to do that because if I had someone doing that for me in the morning, it would make all the more difference. You know, if I'm walking into school and, you know, the janitor or whoever they're pumping me up, they're getting me excited to go in, you know, that makes my day. That
changes their course too. I mean, that changes everything. The way that they were thinking by the time they got up to that door, all of that probably just went out the window. Whatever was holding them down, whatever was making them upset. Hopefully they just got to let go of that for a little bit. Yeah. And you bring up their mood, and now they're happy to be in class.
And that's what it was all about. So, I mean, I said, all right, let's start with saying, hey, what's up? Come on in, you know, getting them all pumped up. And then I said, all right, let's throw in a high five. So every kid that would come in, I'd open the door, have the door wide open. I'm like, what's up? What's up? What's up? Giving the high fives. And then
that's awesome.
That's how that. And then what happened at that point was one of the ladies at the school, they said, you know what, Kevin? They said, your energy is unbelievable. They said, we don't understand where you get this energy from in the morning. Hey, do you mind if like we film you? We film this coming in, you know, the kids coming in and all that, you know, and what they did was they ended up posting it on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
They posted, you know, it on Facebook, and I got the name Hi-Five Custodian. It spread, dude.
I was going to say, to make the news, it had to have made some noise.
The town in Merrimack, it started there, and it just blew up and blew up and blew up. And next thing you know, it went from Facebook to basically local news companies picking it up, seeing this, and I ended up being on Chronicle.
Yes, that's what it was, Chronicle.
And I was at first, I'm like,
I was trying to remember.
I was like, what's going on? It's just on Facebook, and next thing you know, Chronicle called the school. They called the school.
Well, they have to.
Yeah,
they have
to say if it's okay. And then next thing you know, the principal, one of them, he has me go in the office, and he's like, listen, he's like, Kevin, I got Chronicle on the phone right now. They want to talk to you. And I'm like, okay.
You're like, is Fritz gonna tell my story?
No, there's more, dude. There's more. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, all right. And you know, and I'm talking to them, you know, and they're like, can we follow you? Can we follow you in the morning and see what your routine is?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So basically, you know, I set it up with the school. They set it up. Everyone's good to go. The district is loving it. The district is like, oh my God. They're like, you don't. They're like, Kevin, you don't understand the positive attitude you have. You're bringing us up. This is great. This is great. So you know, I'm doing that, and then I think it was like a couple days later, I got a call from Ellen's people.
Ellen.
Shut
up.
Ellen's people, and I kid you not. I swear to God, Ellen's people called me, and I did a and basically. I talked to them, and then they ended up, because I was at work, and they said, hey, can we call you later on and do a Zoom meeting with you?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So I ended up talking to them, doing a Zoom meeting with them, and I'm sitting there like, I didn't realize, I said to them, I said, I didn't know this was going to get this big. I said, I was just doing my job, and I love my job, as you know. And they're like, no, they're like, you're what you're doing is it's uplifting.
What you're doing is above and beyond your job.
Yeah.
Let's be real. What you're doing, standing there, giving those kids high fives, welcoming them into the school is above and beyond what you're asked to actually do. So that's amazing.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
That's great.
But I didn't think much of it. And then one day there was, before they had scheduled to shadow me, Chronicle, there was a kid, he came up to me, he goes, Kevin, can you give me a letter of recommendation for a college? I'm like, why would you want from me? I'm like, from me, a custodian. He goes, the reason why I would love a letter of recommendation from you. He goes, because Kevin, you won't sit here and blow smoke up my ass.
Yeah, that's fair.
He says, he goes, since I've known you, since you've been here, you've kept it honest with us. You haven't sugarcoated anything. You haven't lied to us. You've always been straightforward with us, and he goes, you're the person that I look up to and respect. He goes, you're a custodian. He goes, but we don't look at you as that. We look at you as more than that.
Wow.
Yeah. And
that's awesome.
That blew me away. I'm like, I went and told my wife, I'm like, she's like, really? I said, yeah, he wants a letter of recommendation from me, and I I did it, typed it up, forwarded it to him. And, but it's like, it showed me that, kids are kids. I understand that they do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, it's the nature of, it's the way it is. But if you can earn their respect and their trust and show them that you're not trying to BS them, you're trying to keep it 100 with them, at the same time, letting them know, hey, if you do something wrong, I'm going to call you out for it.
Yeah.
I want you to take responsibility for what you're doing.
Dude, you changed lives.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like that while you were doing it.
Yeah.
But you changed people, little brains that were doing something, and then you took that and you were like, no, go in this direction instead, without saying go in this direction.
Exactly.
All you did was bring positivity, the same thing you brought to us when we worked together at Walmart, singing, dancing, running around, giving high fives. We were doing all that shit while we were working third shift,
it was
cleaning floors.
Dude,
So
exactly.
like to see you do that, and to see that basically you've never changed from what I've known.
Nah, this is
and who the person I've worked with is fantastic. But you took all of that you always do. It's just you. It's in you.
Yeah.
And you brought it to them, and you changed people, man.
Oh,
that's
just
amazing.
And that's.
I think that's so cool. I find it to be so it's not eye opening. It's not relief. It's what am I looking for here? You just change them, and I think that's great.
Oh no, it's and it's every year when the freshmen are coming in or the kids are coming in, and it's just I haven't I kept it 100 with them. I haven't tried to fool anyone, and this is me. This is what you get. This is who I am, and like I said, every year kids come in, they go, hey. My brother went to school last year, and he said you're the music guy. You do the music and everything, and I'm like, yeah, And they're like, really? And I go, hey, type in my name. You'll hear my. And then when they come in and they go, oh, well, that was really you. And then I give them a sample size of me actually singing or rapping. They go, wow, it really is you. It just kind of blows their mind, because here I am. They're like, you're a custodian. We all love you, we all respect you, but you add that extra flavor. Whereas you actually sing, and you're doing music, and you have kids. How do you fit all this in? And I go, it's just
it's life. You
it's
figure
life.
it out.
Exactly.
There's no book. There's no book to this shit. You just do it. I don't know how many times I've woken up and I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta do. I'm gonna get all this done today, I hope. Yeah, you just don't know.
No.
You figure it out as you go, and life throws you curves.
Oh yeah.
And puts roadblocks in your way
Mm-hmm.
all the time. And it's like, I think a lot of the younger generation has lost that vision because our generation has made it so easy for them not to see those obstacles. And when you take the obstacles and the bumps in the roads and the chances to fall down and hurt yourself, you don't learn to pick yourself back up.
It's this generation. It's the enabling generation. There's no accountability generation, and I see it, and I go, you know, you guys. I tell them, I go, you guys really don't have a lot to worry about. You guys don't really have a lot to. Your life compared to when I was a kid is easy.
Yeah,
You know, your life compared to when I was a kid. You know, you just gotta. The point is, I understand you're gonna do stupid stuff because that's what kids do, but at the same time, take responsibility for your actions. Don't try to deny and say, no, it wasn't me. I didn't do this or this didn't happen. When it did happen, just own up to it. Take responsibility. Also, at the same time, do the right thing.
and I agree with you 100%. But when I was a teenager, kid, I did not do that, and boy, oh boy, did it ever bite me in the ass. Oh my God! But it traveled with me. Like I took what I was doing. And I brought it all the way up into my 30s. And so all it did was constantly keep me in trouble, in and out of jail, you know, all kinds of wonderful things.
Yeah.
So if that's the path that you want to go on, then keep doing it. Because that's the only place it leads.
It's all life lessons.
Yeah,
you know?
it's life lessons.
You know, and it's just, and I understand that, like, some kids I talk to, and I'm like, you know, they'll tell me what's going on at, you know, situations that are going on. Because like I said, being at that school for so long, the kids sometimes they just want to come up to me and talk to me and tell me how things are going, and I go, you know, or what I'll do is some kids, I'll say, hey, how's it going? You know, what's going on? How are your grades?
Yeah,
I'll ask them, how are your grades? And they go, oh, it's C's and D's, and I go, really? I go, so you know, what do you think you should do to get that up? And they go, well, I said, hey, that's what you got to do.
Yeah,
you know. Or they'll just say, you know, something happened at home, and I just listen. That's all you do is listen. Don't try to. I learned that listen. Don't try to give advice, because you know what? That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for
somebody to listen.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I agree with that.
They're looking for someone to listen. And I tell them, I go, you know, if you ever need to talk, I'm here. And I got to tell them, I said, I'm not, you know. You need to talk to me about anything, I'm here. I'll sit here and listen. And I said, that's kind of where we're at. You know, I'm not going to try to give you, you know, advice, because my advice might not be the best advice. I can try to guide you and give you my opinion on how I would handle the situation or how I would go about it. But I'm not going to try to give you advice.
That's really the best way to deal with any of this, any of these situations or anything is that you even this where I talk about what happened in my life. I'm not telling you to do what I did. Exactly. I'm not telling you that what I did to get where I am today is going to work for you.
Exactly.
All I can do is tell you my journey, tell you what's going on. And if you pick from that and something works for you, then fantastic. And that's what you're doing for these kids. And that's amazing, dude, because there are next generation. So this is very important for them to learn and understand.
I'm telling you, dude, this is, like I tell people, this is the best job I've ever had, because like I said, it gives me the best of both worlds. It gives me the opportunity to spend time with my family. It gives me the opportunity to see the generations as they change and as they
I bet.
It gives me an understanding of basically, you know, everything that I see and what I need to know. You know, but that's and people go, why would this be the best job in the world? You clean up, you know, toilets and this and that. And I go, no, I said it's more than that.
Yeah.
I said, I don't look at it as I look in here coming every day that, you know what, I'm going to give you 110% of me. I'm going to try to make sure you're enjoying the moment while you're here, because let's face it, once you leave school, the real world is out there. So you might want to take advantage of what's available to you now.
Right.
Because after that, you're on your own.
You know? I mean, think about it. They're in school, right? So they got bumpers. They got all kinds of safety bumpers. It's all kinds of. You get out into the world, there's no bumpers, there's no nothing. If you forgot your helmet, you're going to crack your head. And let's be honest. You might be cleaning bathrooms, but I don't think anything was worse than the women's bathroom at Walmart. All right? Because I've cleaned those fuckers, and they are dirty. Dirty, dirty, dirty. So I'll take a school bathroom any day. Right?
Oh, man.
I mean,
those are the days. Oh, my God.
We used to have so much fun. We used to have so much fun.
Those are the days. It's just the stuff that we had, we would see and go through and be like, wow, that really happened. It was, it was fun. It was truly awesome. Like I said, Walmart took good care. Walmart, for people, people knocking it, it was helpful for me. It was good. It was fun. It was helpful for me. It just it helped me with what I have to work with now. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Because I said to myself, if I can, like you said, if you can clean and do it,
the worst job on the planet is cleaning the women's bathroom at Walmart. I'm sorry. I've done it all at that place. I've cleaned the men's bath. I've cleaned. Oh my God.
Oh, dude, no, it's just...
You want me to go clean the women's bathroom at 2:00 in the morning? Am I in trouble? Do you hate me? Like, what did I do wrong? You know what I mean, dude? That's how we used to feel when we got thrown that task. That's how you felt. So for you to have those kids be like, hey, you're cleaning the bathrooms. Why is this the best way? Well, clean the bathrooms at Walmart.
Dude,
Get back to me. People have died in those bathrooms. They have died in those bathrooms. I believe 2 people have died in Manchester. Truthfully.
Dude.
You know what I mean? But yeah, no, this has been really, really fun, man. It's been, dude, what a great opportunity. I want to put this back up there so everybody can see it. But yeah, no, this is awesome, man. It was so good to talk to you.
Definitely, man. We've been trying to do this for the longest. It's always the
longest time. But you know what, dude? Like everything else we just talked about.
Yeah.
Everything happens when it's supposed to happen.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Like I have talked about trying to get this scheduled and put it together, and I will tell everybody, if you do a podcast and you want to have guests on, the worst thing to do is booking guests. It's the worst. It really is. It's so hard, and everybody is so busy now. It was like once COVID hit, stayed, is now lingering. Everybody's schedules are even all screwed up. I mean, everybody. I mean, I don't know about you, but every time I talk to somebody and I try to say what year it happened, I'm always off now. I'm like, I lost 2 years, and I'm like, I don't know where they went.
No, it's just trying to, like I said, we were talking about earlier. It's like, COVID has changed everything. It's changed everything. It's kind of, it's affected everything. It's affected school. It's affected just lifestyles in general. Before it's like, all right, you can do this or do that, but now it's like, okay, you've got to work around the COVID policy. Yeah. And I that's the thing that kills me the most. And like I said, we were talking earlier about, if you gotta make sure that you're tested, you're this, you're that, and it's just like, okay, at what point, when are we going to get back to the point where we can just enjoy life?
Yep, and I agree with you 100%. I think I said about 2 years ago that I thought it was going to be 2022, and it doesn't seem that way, because now that everything's going the way it's going, we're gonna have a battle about where it's going now. So I still have hope that we're all gonna figure this out, and couple more years, I guess.
You the way I look at it is 2022. It's not going to change. You're looking probably 2026, 27 around then, because I guarantee you there'll be a new variant coming soon from somewhere. There'll be a new one. There'll be another one coming from somewhere. And
what? You mean it's going to change again?
It evolves.
What? Every year?
It evolves.
Get out of here.
It will evolve. And you'll be sitting there like, oh my God, come on, bro.
Misinformation.
I just wanted to live and have fun, and just nope.
No, and I think, but we're eventually going to get through it. I think we are. We're eventually going to get to a point where I think a lot of the studies have shown us that things that they thought were working are not working, and hopefully we can turn that around, and then hopefully we can just accept the fact that, like, you know, this is what it is going to be. It is what it is, man.
You can't.
This is not a pandemic anymore. It's an endemic. And we need to treat it like an endemic and figure out, you just need to do what's best for you. And we all know now that the masks are for protecting yourself. They're not for protecting anybody else.
No,
they're for protecting yourself. That's it.
And that's where that's where the confusion is.
Oh, well, come on now. Where did you, I mean, I never expected it not to be confusing, especially when you've got the dum-dum up at the top that was funding this lab in the first place, not to get too conspiratorial, but he already said, don't put them on because we need them for medical workers. And then when the medical workers finally got all their shit, they were like, you just still don't need to. And then all of a sudden they were like, well, let's lock you down and have you put on a mask. We think this is going to work. And it's just like, it got out of control from there.
The way I tell people I go is the mask situation. Whoever's making the companies that are making the masks, they're making their profits are skyrocketing.
Well, you know what they should do with those profits? Clean up all the pollution we got from the masks.
You're asking a lot. That's.
Have you seen the amount of pollution those masks have caused?
Dude,
it's crazy.
At work, do you know how many masks I see in the parking lot that are thrown on the floor? And it just, you're asking them to do the right thing. And some corporations, some of them don't believe in doing that. They believe in profit. They believe in profit.
The one thing that I have, I've been saying, I don't have kids, but I know that there's a lot of parents like my sister and a bunch of my friends, and they are just fed up with masking these kids, you know, and where other countries are not masking anybody under the age of 12. Yeah. So, and you're trying to put a mask on a toddler and all this weird shit.
That I don't agree. I don't understand that.
I don't get any of this because we all know, even though it is super tragic when a kid catches COVID and dies from it, the percentage of that is super, super low. So why are we putting these kids through all of this crap, all this bullshit to make ourselves happy? Because I don't feel like this is about the kids' safety. I feel like it's about the people in charge feeling like, well, we're doing something. Yeah. Well, I don't fucking want you to do something. I want you to do something that works. I want you to do something that helps. Don't just do something, because when you just do something,
that's not really solving the problem.
No, it's not doing shit.
No.
You're like, well, I did this and I did this, so I did something. Well, good for fucking you, because now everything's fucked up.
Well, there's a new, from what I understand, there's a new law that the teachers are dealing with. This new law that basically they're trying to pass. I call it the loyalty law. Look it up. The loyalty law basically is saying that you are loyal to us, to basically loyal to
What?
Yeah, look it up. If you have a chance, it's called loyalty law. Basically what it is
wow.
This law, there are certain teachers that teach like US history and all that, that teach basically the stuff that has happened throughout our time. They're trying to basically control that and tell the teachers that, look, we want you to teach how, history is all happy, happy, joy, joy. We don't want you to teach the hardships of everything that has happened in history.
It's so stupid.
Yeah. We don't want you to do that because we feel that you might be influencing or putting your opinion into the kids' heads and telling, and influencing them into your beliefs and your opinion.
What are you talking about? How else are we supposed to talk about history?
If you don't know your history, if you don't know your past, you're
not going to learn.
And I saw that, and I saw that on the news, and it's basically putting the teachers on notice, saying, hey, you have to be loyal to us, you have to be loyal to basically us. This is what we want. This is what we need you to do. This is what you teach. This is what we want you to say.
Wow, that's not the way we should be doing things. We should be doing things so that the kids understand all aspects of everything, whether it's good or bad. And I said this in my last week's podcast, is I'm getting upset because we're trying to. I don't care about the statues. I don't care about any of that shit. Like, take them down. Do whatever you want to do. Put it. I don't care. It's not about taking down statues and doing that. But you're never gonna talk about it again.
And that, yeah.
What are we talking about here? Because now you're ignoring, and you're ignoring what happened and how we got here.
Exactly.
And we got to look at how we got here. Now, on an opposite hand, we are the youngest country in the world, right?
Yeah.
We're the youngest country in the world. What other countries looking backwards going, hey, we really did a bad thing back here. We should change the way we're doing things now. Zero.
Yeah.
There is not one other country doing what we're doing.
Nope.
So if you don't think that this is still the best country in the world and the most progressive country in the world, then I don't know what else you want, because there's nobody doing what the fuck we are doing today.
Exactly.
Nobody.
No.
And that blows my mind, because not only do I think it's a good thing to look back and because you want to see how we got here, and you're like, oh, okay, we shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
So let's not do that anymore.
Exactly.
But we cannot do that now.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the only way you're gonna.
No
learn.
other country's doing this. Nobody. Do you think Putin's wasting his fucking time with this shit? Do you think fucking Kim Jong-un is messing with...
No.
They don't give a fuck about people in general. They want you to fall in line, do what I say, and if you don't cry hard enough, I kill you.
Exactly.
Like, that's the real world. That's the rest of the world.
Yeah.
That we're the only ones doing what we're doing, and yet we still have people crying about Joe Rogan.
Because they want, you can't change the past.
No.
You can't change the past. You can learn from it and move on.
At least I hope you can.
You know, just move on. Understand it, move on. Say, okay, I understand that this is the way it was back then. What are we going to do to change it? What are we going to do to improve it? So that way the pattern won't happen again. That's what I'm saying. You know, you don't want to continue to have the same pattern going on and on and on again. You know, but I want to know about my history. I want to know I want to understand what's going on. So that way I know that if my kids ever have questions and I want to educate them.
Yeah.
That's fine. You know, but yeah, there's this bill that they're trying to pass. Look at it. It's called I believe it's called the loyalty law.
Okay.
And they're trying to pass it, and I usually talk to some of the teachers and I go, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And they go, "Yeah, that's that loyalty." I'm like, I don't understand why they're questioning and challenging your loyalty when you're in here teaching, you're in here during the COVID crisis, you're in here doing all this, and they're questioning your loyalty, and you're not getting paid enough. Teachers are paid for what teachers put up with. You know, they should be. Come on now.
Out of all the things going on today, we should be taking care of our teachers and our nurses and doctors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yes. Yeah.
And I love how now, 2 years later, like, do you remember when all the nurses and stuff, they were getting like clapping at 6 o'clock at night and all these praises and everything? And here we are 2 years later, and they're like, oh yeah, they're nothing again. And I'm like, oh, well, it's so neat how you guys just flipped that switch. They're number one, and now we're just tired of them because now they're all bitching and complaining that everything's too hard. It's like it has been too hard for them for over 2 years now.
Oh yeah.
So I don't think there's a lot of stuff that we need to work on. Period.
Yes.
In this country, in our reds and our blues, I mean, we have got a lot of work to do.
Yes, sir.
And I will have to say, from my perspective, and it could be blinded, but I think where we are today is a lot better than where we were 20 years ago.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
It's incredible how much has changed in 20 years.
Oh yeah.
And now I think we're getting to the point where we're just trying to nitpick. We're nitpicking at everything.
No, you're right. Yeah, no,
and I know this has been said 1,000 times on a million podcasts, but it's true. As society falls apart, this is when people start worrying about gender and worrying about their sex and worrying about all these things that are happening.
Yep.
And this usually is the definition of an empire falling. And if we don't want to be that, then we need to start changing these things now. Stop nitpicking everybody because they don't want to use your pronoun. As far as I'm concerned, and I don't have a problem with the pronouns. I don't have a problem with any of this shit. Be transgender. Do whatever you want. Yeah. That's your fucking personal thing. It's America. You can do that. But at the same time, when you introduce yourself to me, I just want your fucking name. I just want your name. I don't give a shit who you're fucking, what you're fucking, or how you like to do those things. I do not care. I just want, my name's Bill. Well, hello, Bill. Let's have a conversation because the last thing on my mind is sex.
Exactly.
Like, this is not how we were brought up. We were not, actually, we were brought up to never talk about it.
Exactly.
My dad didn't even have a fucking talk with me. He's like, sex? What? I gotta go to Home Depot. You know, you know, the bolt goes into the hole and yeah, that's sex. And I'm like, what? I don't know. Yeah, I'll take a taco. Like, what the, you know what I mean? So when we get to this point and these things are happening, it's kind of scary from my point of view, because I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen when these people get older? There's less people in the military because they don't want to get into it or what have you. And then our military falls further. I want everybody to think about the simple fact that China will wait. Russia will wait. They have been super patient for a long time.
They're patient.
And you don't think that they'll wait another 20 years to wait to see if it declines a little bit more and then they can just swoop in?
They're patient. They are truly patient.
That's what I think about. And I don't know if that's my age or what.
No, I go by, like I said, your choice, your preference. I have no problem with that. You ain't hurting anyone. You're living your life. You're doing what you got to do. You're basically contributing to society. That's you.
Perfect.
That's you. You do you.
Yes.
I'm gonna do me. We're gonna be good. You ain't hurting anyone. You're living your life. I could care what's going on. You know, that's how I look at it. You know,
100%, man. That's the way I bet. Like, let's worry about just that.
In other words, it's like, don't be nosy.
Yeah, like it's not everybody's business to know my business. Now I don't mind putting my business out there. I don't mind sharing my stories. Exactly. I don't mind any of that. But at the end of the day, the last thing I'm going to tell you is you need to use, in order to speak to me, you need to use this.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's crazy.
Yeah,
I just need to know name, you know, and if you're not starting out with your name and we're getting right into that, that's like seeing a hot chick and having her be like, oh God, I had it on the tip of my tongue. I might have to edit that out. But no, I had it. It was a saying. I think I heard another comic say it. But like, if they say that certain things get said, you're just like, I'm out.
Yeah.
If that's like a hot girl telling you her sign.
Yeah.
If we start out and she's like, I'm Aries, I'm like, oh, I'm out. I'm out. I can't even start here. And that's exactly how I feel when the conversation has to start with your pronoun.
Yeah.
Like, I'm out. I'm done. I don't need to have this conversation because I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
You give them that look like, okay. All right.
Right?
Yeah, sure. Okay. And, and then you could try to continue it more. And then, no, okay. All right. I got to go. Ooh, a call. Oh.
I got to call. I got to go. But Kevin, this has been great. It's been really great to reconnect.
Yes, brother.
Please plug, promote. I got it up on the screen, but plug and promote it one more time. And like I said, I'm going to do thirds. I'm going to do all those great things.
Like I said, pretty much my music, you can listen to it on YouTube, SoundCloud. You can listen to it on Spotify. So I'm on all venues. And like I said, my artist name is Kevin, and then it's Freeman 73. It's very simple. Like I said, listen, I've got all types of styles, all types of varieties on there. Like I said, it's called Wild Child. That's the best way I sum it up. Like I said, country, R&B, some hip hop, some blues, even some acapella for you. you know, it's scattered all across the board. You know what I'm saying? Just follow me.
Well, my man,
Yo,
it has
brother.
been great talking
It's
to
good to
you.
touch
Thank
base.
you for coming on the
been a minute.
podcast.
It's been a minute.
Dude, yes, it has been a minute.
It's weird. It's like, dang, man, you're good doing all this. It's good to see that from Walmart. You know, we moved on to bigger and better things.
Yes, we did, sir.
That's the way I look at it. You learn from those things and you move on, and it's just bigger and better things. Man, I'm happy I'm proud of you, dude. You come a long way.
Well, thank you.
Seriously, man,
I really do appreciate it. Well, let's be real. You knew me in my drinking days. So I was not my best. I mean, you know what I mean? So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Man, you've come a long, long way. I remember, like I said, the Walmart days, they were interesting. And I mean, seeing you now, seeing what you're doing, dude, you knew what you wanted to do, man. Keep it. I'm happy for you. I'm really proud of you.
Well,
I know it doesn't mean much for me, but I'm really proud of you.
It means it does mean a lot, because a lot of people in my life saw me at my worst. Yeah. And I don't speak to a lot of those people because I was at my worst. So to have people from my past want to come back into my life is really incredible. And it does show me that all the work I've done has paid off.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, yeah.
So I do appreciate that. And it does mean a lot to me, because this is a giant work in progress. So
you're killing it, dude. Seriously.
Dude.
Like I said, you're killing it. Just keep doing what you're doing.
I will. And you too, man. Keep up the music. And everybody out there, I hope you have a great weekend.
Yes. Super Bowl,
this
baby.
is Super Bowl. That's right. It is Sunday, isn't it? So, check out Kevin. And I hope everybody has a great rest of their weekend. And I'll talk to you later. I'll talk to you later.